let's unbox a thing so that I can make some content this week. I got this in the mail. It is technically e-waste, but that's what all the most fun things are. Hang on, where's my mechanic knife? There we go. It's a fun little piece of history, assuming it is in fact what I ordered. It's eBay, so you can never be too sure. Oh, yeah. Look at that little weirdo. Yeah. It's fighting me. So, this, all the markings are worn off. This is supposedly Intel's most notable failure. There's all sorts of videos on the internet that go into detail about this, but this is an old Intel Itanium server CPU. I, of course, cannot run this into anything because I don't have any servers, and they don't think they ever actually bothered to make a consumer motherboard that could run one of these. But yeah, they were contracted to make it under HP for like a decade. It was... Alright, Cliff Notes. It was intended to be a superscalar CPU to a ridiculous attempt. Superscalar referring to it being able to execute more than one instruction on a clock cycle. Pretty much everything does that now, but this was supposed to be like very superscalar. Anyway, they had decided to do it through like software somehow, because usually that sort of thing is handled by hardware, but they were like, no, we can make it more efficient with software, and it never did work, so that's good. I mean, it worked, but not better than anything else. And about the same time they released these things, AMD released the 64-bit version of x86, which is, of course, a much better idea than this. So, yeah, it wasn't great, and they were forced by contract to keep it going for a long time. So yeah, I mean, like, I think this thing is circa 2006. So the specs, you know, they won't seem great, but this, like, normal gaming CPU size die is one core operating at 1 gigahertz. Yeah, they it wasn't a great move in retrospect. I mean, it could have been if they got the compiler to do the thing properly, but it never did it efficiently enough to be worthwhile. And so, yeah, I found somebody selling these, like, big piles of them, presumably after liquidating an old, outdated server. And this was like $10 with shipping. Yeah, I'll take that. A little historical piece. This would slot into like a module with like heat sinks and circuitry and nonsense like that, and that would slot into a rack. I'm disappointed it's getting hard to find the complete modules, but luckily the CPU itself is pretty cheap. Oh, this scrubs off. This is not horribly scarred up like I figured, although I'm sure that material is highly cancerous. Be right back. Let's do some excavation. I don't know if it's specifically opposed to isopropyl alcohol, but I can't even test if it runs still, so whatever. That's tough. Alright, I might as well get more of this crap under my fingernails. Yep, it just barely says titanium. I have no idea what that little hole in the corner is for. I do know that this is not fully the die. There are also VRMs underneath the integrated heatsink, or integrated heat spreader. My apologies. Let's see, I believe these weird swatches here on this side are actually for heat dissipation near the contacts, which is funky. They planned for this thing to run for a long freaking time at a stretch. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna put it in like a frame or something like that. Good old Intel trying their best and not quite hitting it out of the park, but that's fine. We all have our off days. Theirs was just like a decade long. Well, thank you for watching. If you still are, hope you have a lovely evening.